Have you ever felt too small, too young, or too inexperienced to make a difference? Imagine living in a quiet, simple town, working hard every day, helping your family, and dreaming of a better future, but always feeling unsure if you can truly change your life. This story, The Choice That Changed Everything, is more than just a tale. It is a journey of courage, smart thinking, and determination. It shows how one single choice, made with bravery, can transform life completely. You will follow a character who starts with nothing but hope, a small plan, and the courage to act. Step by step, they face challenges, endure setbacks, and even receive unexpected help, showing that persistence and careful thinking can overcome fear and doubt. Written in simple A1 to A2 English, this story is perfect for English learners who want to improve reading skills while learning life-changing lessons. You will discover how hard work, patience, and confidence can turn ordinary moments into extraordinary results. Get ready to join a journey full of inspiration, growth, and hope. By the end, you will see clearly that one choice, made with courage, can truly change everything. Let's begin this motivational adventure together and learn English while discovering the power of small, brave steps. The ordinary beginning. I live in a small town. The town is quiet. The streets are empty in the morning. Birds sing in the trees. Smoke comes from small chimneys. People wake up early. Everyone has work to do. I wake up too. My bed is small, but it is warm. I stretch my arms and look outside the window. The sun is soft. I take a deep breath. Today is another day to work. My family is small. My father works in the fields. He plants seeds and waters plants. My mother cleans the house and cooks food. I have a little sister. She is young and likes to play. I help my family every day. I bring water from the well. I clean the floor. I carry vegetables from the market. I feel tired sometimes, but I keep working. I want to help my family. Even though I am young, I have dreams. I want to see the world outside my town. I want to learn new things. I want a life that is bigger than this. But sometimes I feel small. I am not strong like my father. I am not wise like the teachers. I am just a child. I wonder if I can really change my life. Can someone like me make a difference? Can I leave this small town and find a better future? I spend my mornings in the fields with my father. He smiles and shows me how to plant seeds carefully. Work hard and you will see results, he says. I watch his hands. They are strong and steady. I try to copy his movements. I make mistakes, but I learn slowly. Each seed I plant feels like a small hope. Maybe one day these seeds will grow, and maybe one day I will grow too. In the afternoons, I go to the market. I carry baskets of vegetables. People greet me kindly. Some know me, some do not. I watch the faces around me. Everyone seems busy. Everyone has a role. I feel small, but I also feel connected. Life in the town is simple. Life is not easy, but people keep moving. I keep moving too. I wonder, can I do something bigger than this routine? Sometimes I sit near the river. The water moves fast. I watch it and think. The river does not stop. It moves even when it is cold or rainy. I want to be like the river. I want to move forward, even when it is hard. I imagine a life with new streets, new buildings, and new people. I imagine learning new skills and helping many people. I imagine a home where my family never worries about money or food. The dream feels far, but it feels bright too. I am not alone in my thinking. My little sister asks questions too. Why do we wake up so early? She asks. I smile. Because every day is important, I say. She listens, and I feel proud. Even though I am young, I can teach small lessons. Even though I am small, I can try to make life better. At night, I sit by the candle. I write in my notebook. I write dreams and ideas. I write mistakes I make and lessons I learn. Writing makes my thoughts clear. I look at the small lamp. It is not bright like the sun, but it gives light. I think, maybe I am like this lamp. I am small now, but I can shine. I can give hope to myself. I can grow slowly, like the seeds in my father's field. Some days, I feel afraid. I feel that I am too young, too weak, too small. I think about other children in town. Some are lazy. Some do not dream. I want to be different. I want to use my small hands and my small brain to create something better. I think about my parents. They work so hard. They deserve better. I want to help them. I want to prove that age does not decide success. I want to prove that courage and hard work do. I go to bed late. The town is quiet now. The wind moves softly through the trees. I close my eyes and imagine tomorrow. Tomorrow I will wake up again, carry baskets, plant seeds, and help my family. But tomorrow I will also think of ways to make life bigger. Tomorrow I will try to take one small step toward my dream. Maybe a step today seems small. Maybe tomorrow it will feel bigger. I feel a little hope in my heart. I know life is not easy. I know the world outside is bigger than my town. I do not know all the answers. I do not know if I will succeed. But I know one thing. I will try. I will not stop dreaming. I will not stop working. I will be patient, and I will be smart. One day, maybe, someone like me will change everything. The morning will come again. I will wake up. I will move forward. I will plant seeds in the field and in my life. This is the ordinary beginning. But even ordinary beginnings can become extraordinary if I choose to keep going. The first challenge. One morning the town was quiet, but my home was not. My father looked worried. My mother held her head in her hands. Something had happened. The market had changed. Prices were higher. The money from our small farm was not enough to buy food for the week. My heart beat fast. I felt a cold fear in my stomach. What could we do? How could we solve this problem? I carried water to my mother. She tried to smile, but I could see her eyes. They were tired and sad. My little sister looked at me and said, "Are we in trouble?" I did not answer. I did not know the answer. I felt small, too small for this big problem. I wanted to cry, but I knew crying would not help. I needed to think. I needed to act. I walked outside. The sun was warm, but my mind was heavy. I looked at the fields. The seeds I planted last week were growing slowly. I thought, maybe I can sell some vegetables at the market. Maybe I can help in a new way. I had never tried selling alone before. I had never counted money carefully. I was young, but I wanted to try. I went to my father and spoke quietly. "Father, maybe I can take some vegetables to the market. I can try to sell them. It may help." He looked at me with surprise. He opened his mouth, then smiled a little. "It is not easy," he said. "The market is full of sellers. People may not buy, but if you are careful, you can try." I nodded. I felt a mix of fear and excitement. My heart was racing, but I also felt strong. I collected the best vegetables. I cleaned them carefully. I counted the money my father gave me to buy more baskets. I made a small plan. Go to the market, greet people politely, show the vegetables clearly, and ask for a fair price. I had never done this before. I hoped my idea would work. When I arrived at the market, the noise hit me first. People shouted, children ran, and sellers called out their prices. I felt small again. I looked at the big sellers with big stalls. They had so many goods. How could I sell anything? My hands shook. My voice almost broke when I said, "Fresh vegetables! Fresh vegetables!" At first, no one stopped. I felt afraid again. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I was too young. But then I remembered the river near my town. It never stopped moving. Even in cold weather, even when it rained, it kept going. I needed to keep going too. I smiled at the first customer. "These are fresh. They are good for your family," I said. The customer looked at me and bought a small bag. My heart jumped. One sale. Maybe I could do more. Hour by hour, I tried new ways. I moved my basket to a brighter place. I greeted people with a louder, friendly voice. I noticed which vegetables people liked. I learned quickly. Sometimes I made mistakes. I asked the wrong price. I dropped a basket. But each time I corrected it. I thought, mistakes are not the end. They are lessons. By the end of the day, I had sold most of the vegetables. I counted the money carefully. It was not a lot, but it was enough for the family to buy food. I ran home, excited. My mother hugged me. My father smiled with pride. My little sister clapped her hands. I felt a warm light in my heart. I had faced the challenge. I had used my mind. I had worked hard. That night, I sat near the candle and thought about the day. I learned something important. Problems are not walls. Problems are doors. They test courage and creativity. They test patience and heart. If I give up, I fail. If I try, I learn. Even if I fail again, I can try again. Life is full of challenges, but challenges can make me strong. I closed my eyes and imagined the next day. New problems might come, new fears might appear, but I was ready. I knew I could think, I could act, and I could keep moving. One day, maybe, challenges would no longer scare me. One day, I would look at problems and smile. But tonight, I was happy. I had faced the first real challenge. I had survived. I had learned that courage, thinking, and action together could change even a small life in a big way. The idea that sparked hope. The next morning I walked through the fields. The sun was warm and the wind was soft. I carried a basket of vegetables to the market again. My hands were tired, but my mind was awake. I thought about yesterday. I had helped my family. I had sold vegetables. But I wanted more. I wanted a bigger change. I wanted to help my family in a better way. As I walked, I noticed the river. The water moved fast. I watched how it found its way around rocks and trees. Even when the path was hard, the river never stopped. Suddenly, an idea came to my mind. Maybe I could find a way to earn more money with something simple. Maybe I could create a small plan that used my hands, my mind, and the things I already knew. The thought made my heart beat fast. I imagined selling vegetables differently. Not only at the market, but maybe to neighbors and friends. I imagined cleaning the vegetables better, arranging them nicely, and offering small packages for families. I imagined asking my father to teach me small tricks he used in the fields. I imagined small signs to show people what was fresh and good. Each idea seemed small, but together they could make a difference. But then fear came. I was young. I had no money for big tools. I had no experience for big work. What if people laughed at me? What if my plan failed? My heart felt heavy. I stopped walking and looked at the empty path. The trees whispered in the wind. The birds flew high. I thought, everyone else is big, strong, and experienced. How can I, a small child, make something important happen? I returned home slowly. I did not speak about my idea yet. I helped my mother clean the house. I helped my little sister with her homework, but my mind was busy. I thought about the plan again and again. I wrote notes in my small notebook. I drew pictures of baskets, vegetables, and happy families buying food. I imagined the smile on my mother's face if the plan worked. I imagined the relief on my father's face if we had more money. My heart felt warm with hope. At dinner, I tried to speak carefully. "Father, Mother, I have an idea," I said. My parents looked at me. My father raised his eyebrows. My mother smiled gently, but I could see doubt in her eyes. "Tell us," my father said. I took a deep breath. "I want to sell vegetables in a new way. I can go to neighbors, make small packages, and ask people carefully. I can try to earn more for the family." My mother shook her head. "It is too risky. You are too young. People may not buy. You may waste your time." My father nodded slowly. "I do not know if this is a good idea. You are small. Maybe it is better to wait." I felt fear again. I felt doubt in my heart. But then I remembered the river. It never stopped moving. Even small water can move rocks over time. I knew I had to try. I spoke again, with more courage. "I know it is small. I know it is risky. But maybe small steps can make a big change. I want to try. I can learn from mistakes. I can work hard. Please trust me." My parents looked at me for a long time. My mother sighed. My father smiled slightly. They did not say yes or no yet. But in my heart, I knew I had made the first choice. I had chosen courage over fear. That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about the plan. I imagined the baskets, the small packages, the neighbors, and the money slowly coming in. I imagined myself walking confidently through the town. I imagined helping my family without fear. The plan seemed big for someone like me, but my heart whispered, "You can do this. You are ready." I wrote in my notebook, "One small idea can grow like a seed. One choice can change everything. I am small, but I can try. I am young, but I can be brave." The words made me feel strong. I understood something important. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even when you are afraid. My idea was the first step. My courage was the second. Together, they could begin a journey that might change my life. I closed my notebook and looked out the window. The moon was bright. The night was calm. Tomorrow, I would begin the plan. Tomorrow, I would take the first real step toward hope. My heart was nervous, but it was also light. I was ready to face doubts, risks, and mistakes. I was ready to choose courage. This idea, small and fragile, was the spark that could light a bigger life. The difficult decision. The morning was quiet. The sun rose slowly over the small town. I sat by the window and held my notebook. My small plan was written on the pages. The baskets, the vegetables, the neighbors, the steps, all were there. But my heart was heavy. I felt fear. I felt doubt. I felt the weight of a big choice. I could stay safe. I could wait. I could continue the same life as yesterday. I could work in the fields, carry baskets, and help my family in small ways. That was easy. That was safe. No one would laugh at me. No one would say I failed. I could continue my ordinary life without risk, but I felt a small pain in my heart. Something inside me whispered, "Is this enough? Is this all I want?" The other choice was harder. I could act. I could try my plan. I could go to neighbors, make small packages, and sell carefully. I could take my idea and make it real. I could risk failure. I could face judgment. People might say, "You are too young. You cannot do this." I could make mistakes. I could lose money. I could feel shame. But if I tried, I could also change my life. I could help my family. I could make my small dream grow. I walked to the river. The water flowed fast, but it seemed calm. I remembered the first time I saw it. It never stopped. It moved around rocks. It went forward even when the path was difficult. I wanted to be like the river. I wanted to move forward, even if fear blocked my way. I thought about my parents. They worked so hard. My little sister smiled at me every day. I wanted to make life better for them. I wanted to prove that I could try, even if I was small and young. I thought about my friends in the town. Some would not understand. Some would laugh. Some might even try to stop me. That thought made my hands shake. My chest felt heavy. I wanted to turn back. I wanted to stay in my small, safe life. But then I remembered yesterday, the first challenge. I had sold vegetables at the market. I had been afraid. I had been small. And yet I had learned. I had succeeded. If I had given up then, nothing would have changed. I sat under a tree. I closed my eyes. I imagined two paths. One path was easy. It stayed close to the fields, close to home, and close to safety. The other path was hard. It led into the town, into new streets, new challenges, and unknown people. The path was full of obstacles, but at the end, I imagined light. I imagined hope. I imagined my family happy. I imagined myself proud. The choice was clear, but it was not easy. Fear whispered, "You are too small. You cannot do this." Doubt whispered, "What if you fail? What if you lose?" The voices were strong. I could almost hear them in the wind. But then courage spoke softly. "You can try. One step at a time. You have heart. You have mind. You have hands. You can do more than you think." I opened my eyes and took a deep breath. My hands no longer shook. My heart felt steady. I had decided. I would act. I would try my plan. I would face fear, mistakes, and judgment. I would take the first step toward change. This was the choice. The choice that could change everything. I ran home quickly. My parents looked at me. My mother asked, "Are you sure?" I nodded. My father said, "Then do it. Be careful, but try." I felt a warm light inside. My fear was still there, but it was smaller. My courage was bigger. I felt strong even though I was young. I felt ready even though the path was difficult. I prepared my baskets. I cleaned vegetables carefully. I counted money for small supplies. I planned my steps for the day. Each action felt like a heartbeat. Each action said, "I can do this. I am brave. I am small, but I am strong. I am young, but I am ready." As the sun rose higher, I walked to the first house. My plan was ready. My heart was ready. My choice was made. I was no longer just a small child in a small town. I was someone who decided to act, someone who chose courage over fear. Today, everything could change. Today, one choice would shape the life I dreamed of. The first steps. The morning was bright. I carried my baskets of vegetables through the streets of the town. My plan was ready, and my heart felt both nervous and excited. I knew the first steps would not be easy. I had to move carefully, speak politely, and show my vegetables in the best way. Each action mattered. I reached the first house. A woman opened the door. I smiled and said, "Good morning. I have fresh vegetables for your family." She looked at me, surprised. "You are young," she said. "Can you really sell these?" I nodded. My voice was soft, but steady. "Yes, I can try." She took a small bag. I counted the money carefully. My hands shook, but I smiled. One small success. I moved to the next house. This time I spoke louder and moved my basket to a sunny spot. I noticed that people liked vegetables that were clean and arranged nicely. I rearranged the rest. I learned quickly. Small changes made a difference. I felt proud. I thought, even a small child can think smart and work hard at the same time. But mistakes came too. I dropped a basket once. Some vegetables rolled on the ground. I felt my face burn. What if the neighbors laughed at me? I picked up the vegetables, cleaned them, and tried again. I reminded myself, mistakes are lessons. They are not the end. I can correct them. I can try again. As I walked through the town, I noticed different people had different needs. Some liked green vegetables. Some liked red ones. Some wanted small bags. I adjusted my plan. I divided the vegetables carefully, made smaller packages, and offered them politely. Each time I learned. Each time I improved. I felt smart and strong even when I was young. A few houses refused to buy. I felt disappointed. My heart sank for a moment. But I remembered the river. Even when the path was hard, the water kept moving. I kept moving too. I smiled at the next family and said, "These are fresh. They are good for your family." This time, they bought 2 bags. My hope returned. I understood something important. Failures do not stop progress. They teach how to move forward better. By midday, I was tired. My arms ached and my feet hurt. But I also felt a light in my heart. I had made progress. I had faced small failures and corrected them. I had worked hard, but I had also thought carefully. I realized hard work alone is not enough. Smart thinking alone is not enough. Together, they create change. I stopped under a tree for a short rest. I counted the money I had earned. It was not a lot, but it was more than yesterday. More importantly, it was proof. Proof that the plan worked. Proof that courage and careful action could bring results. I felt hope growing like the seeds in the field. Small steps, taken with care, could make a difference. The afternoon was busy. I learned to greet people better, to smile more, to show the freshness of the vegetables. I noticed small details. If a bag looked clean and neat, people were happy. If I spoke politely and clearly, people listened. Each small improvement gave me energy. Each small success made me believe in the next step. By the evening, most of the vegetables were sold. I returned home, exhausted but happy. My mother hugged me. My father nodded with pride. My little sister clapped her hands. I felt warm inside. I had started the plan. I had faced the first day. I had made mistakes, but I had learned. I had worked hard, but I had also thought smart. I had taken the first steps. That night, I sat by the candle and wrote in my notebook. I wrote about the mistakes I made and the lessons I learned. I wrote about the small successes and the hope I felt. I understood something important. Change does not happen quickly. Change happens slowly, step by step. Each day, each choice, each effort adds up. I closed my notebook and looked out the window. The moon was bright and the town was quiet. I felt proud of my first steps. They were small, but they were real. I felt ready for tomorrow. I knew the road would be long. I knew challenges would come, but I also knew that if I kept working carefully, learning from mistakes, and thinking smart, I could move forward. One day, small steps could become a big change. The road of struggles. The next week was not easy. The town was busy, and the market was full of sellers. Some people laughed when they saw me with my small baskets. "You are too young," they said. "Go home and play." Their words hurt. My hands shook, and my heart felt heavy. I wanted to give up. I wanted to go home and stop trying. But I remembered the first steps. I remembered the small successes. I remembered the river. It never stopped, even when the rocks were big and strong. I had started this. I could not stop now. I took a deep breath and said quietly to myself, "I started this. I must finish it." My small voice felt strong inside. Some days the money ran out quickly. I wanted to buy more vegetables, but there was no money left. I felt tired and worried. How could I continue? How could I help my family if I had nothing to sell? I sat by the river and watched the water move. I thought about small ways to solve the problem. I could save a little from each sale. I could plan better. I could work harder. I realized problems are not walls. They are lessons. The neighbors did not always buy. Some said no. Some ignored me. I felt sad. Sometimes I walked home slowly, my baskets almost empty. My little sister asked, "Did you sell today?" I smiled weakly and nodded. I could not tell her about the failures. She was young. She believed in me. I wanted to protect that hope. Each day, I learned something new. I learned to arrange the vegetables in a better way. I learned to speak more clearly. I learned to notice which houses bought first. I learned to plan my steps carefully. Every small improvement helped. I saw that patience was important. I saw that focus could solve many small problems. I saw that believing in myself was stronger than anyone else's doubt. Some days, I wanted to rest. My legs were sore, my hands hurt, and my voice was tired. I thought about staying home. I thought about giving up. But then I remembered my parents. I remembered their hard work. I remembered the little happiness I could give them. I remembered my dream. And I walked again. I carried the baskets. I spoke politely. I worked carefully. Each small effort felt heavy, but each small effort counted. I learned that mistakes were not the end. Sometimes I sold the wrong vegetables. Sometimes I asked the wrong price. Sometimes I dropped a bag. Each time I felt a little fear, but I corrected it. I learned. I tried again. I felt proud of myself. Slowly, the small failures became lessons. Slowly, I became stronger. Slowly, I saw that hard work and smart thinking together could overcome many obstacles. The townspeople began to notice. Some smiled when they saw me. Some stopped to say, "You are brave." Those words felt like sunlight on my heart. I realized that courage was not about being big or strong. Courage was about continuing, even when the road was hard. Courage was about taking small steps every day, learning, and never giving up. By the end of the week, I felt tired but alive. I counted the money I earned. It was more than last week. I had sold more vegetables. I had helped my family a little more. But more importantly, I had learned lessons no money could buy. Patience, focus, belief in myself, courage. These were the tools I needed for life, not just for selling vegetables. That night, I sat by the candle. My notebook was open. I wrote about the challenges, the mistakes, and the lessons. I wrote about the laughter, the doubts, and the moments I almost gave up. I wrote, "The road is hard, but I am stronger. I will continue. I will not stop. I will finish what I started." I closed my notebook and looked at the moon. The night was calm. I felt proud. The road was not over. More struggles would come. Bigger problems would appear. But I had learned something important. Even when life is hard, I can move forward. Even when I am tired, I can keep going. Even when others doubt me, I can believe in myself. I had started this journey. I would finish it. The unexpected help. One bright morning, I walked to the market with my baskets. My arms were tired, but my heart was ready. I greeted every neighbor with a smile. I arranged my vegetables carefully. I thought about yesterday, the lessons I learned, and the small successes. I was focused, and I wanted to do my best. As I set my basket near a sunny spot, a man watched me from the corner of the street. He was tall, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. I had seen him before in the market, but he never spoke to me. Today, he came closer. "Hello," he said. "I have seen you working hard every day. You are very young, but you are determined. That is rare." I looked at him and felt a little nervous. Who was he? Why was he speaking to me? "I have a small idea," he continued. "I can help you. I have some baskets you can use and some advice about selling. If you want, you can try selling in a better way. You will reach more people and maybe earn more for your family." I could not believe my ears. A stranger wanted to help me. I felt my heart beat fast. I wanted to thank him, but I also felt shy. I would like that," I said slowly. My voice shook, but my eyes were bright. "Thank you." He smiled. "Come tomorrow. I will show you how to arrange your vegetables and greet people better. You can take these small baskets. Use them well." I nodded. My mind was full of excitement. I felt a warm light in my chest. Someone believed in me. Someone noticed my hard work. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about the stranger's words. I thought about the baskets he would give me. I imagined using them carefully, making small packages, and reaching more families. My heart was full of hope. I realized that when you work hard, even small efforts can attract help from others. Kindness often comes when it is needed most. The next morning, I met the man. He gave me the baskets and showed me small ways to improve my selling. "Put the vegetables in bright baskets," he said. "Smile at every person. Speak politely. Show the freshness clearly. People like care and attention." I listened carefully. I followed every step. My hands were quick, my mind focused. I wanted to use his advice well. I walked through the streets with the new baskets. I arranged the vegetables neatly. I greeted everyone with a big smile. I tried the tips the man had taught me. I noticed how people stopped more often. Some said, "What a nice young seller." Some bought more vegetables than before. My small heart was full of joy. I felt proud of my effort and the help I received. But I also knew it was not just the baskets or the tips. I knew the man had seen my hard work and my persistence. He had noticed how I never gave up, even when others laughed or doubted me. I understood an important lesson. People notice effort. People notice courage. If you work hard and think carefully, opportunities will come. Sometimes help appears when you need it most. The week passed quickly. I sold more vegetables and earned more money for my family. My little sister clapped every time I returned home. My parents smiled with pride. I thought about the stranger. He gave me tools and advice, but more than that, he gave me hope. He reminded me that hard work and smart thinking attract opportunities. He reminded me that courage is visible, even to strangers. At night, I wrote in my notebook. I wrote about the baskets, the advice, and the lessons I learned. I wrote about the joy of selling, the mistakes I corrected, and the new confidence I felt. I understood that life is not just about doing things alone. Life is also about accepting help when it comes. But help comes to those who try, to those who are brave, and to those who think smart. I closed my notebook and looked out the window. The moon shone softly. I felt grateful and motivated. I knew the road ahead would still be difficult. Challenges would appear again. But I also knew that I was not alone. Hard work, smart thinking, and courage had opened a small door. Someone had noticed. Someone had offered help. I would use it wisely. I would continue my journey. Tomorrow, I would take more steps. Tomorrow, I would face challenges and small failures again. But I would also carry the baskets and the lessons I learned. I would keep working hard and thinking carefully. I would keep moving forward. The road was not easy, but I knew that smart effort and kindness together could create new opportunities. I felt ready for whatever came next. The turning point. The morning was quiet, but full of hope. I carried my baskets through the streets with a careful smile. My heart beat faster than usual. I had followed the advice from the kind man. I arranged the vegetables neatly and greeted everyone politely. Today felt different. I felt that something good might happen. The first house was near the small bakery. I knocked on the door. A woman opened it. "Good morning," I said. "I have fresh vegetables for your family." She looked at my baskets and smiled. "You are always so careful," she said. She bought a large bag. My heart jumped. One small success. I counted the money carefully. I felt proud, but I reminded myself to stay humble. I moved to the next house. This time, I noticed the people waiting for me. Neighbors had seen me before, and they seemed curious. "Hello," I said with a friendly voice. "These are fresh and ready for your family." Several families bought vegetables. Some even thanked me for the careful packages. I smiled quietly. My small plan was working. The effort, the smart thinking, the courage, all were showing results. I walked through the market streets and felt a new energy. People began to nod when they saw me. Some even said, "You work hard, and it shows." Others moved aside to give me space. I realized that respect was appearing slowly, not because I was big or strong, but because I had been brave, persistent, and careful. My heart was warm with pride. I felt that my small choices were creating real change. Mistakes still happened. A bag fell, some vegetables rolled, and one customer said the price was too high. I corrected it, apologized, and kept going. Each small problem was no longer frightening. I remembered the river. It never stopped moving, no matter what blocked its path. I kept moving too. My courage, hard work, and smart thinking carried me forward. By noon, I had sold most of the vegetables. My basket was almost empty, but my heart was full. I counted the money. It was more than I had ever earned before. I ran home quickly. My parents looked at me. My mother's eyes were wide with surprise. My father's face was full of pride. My little sister jumped and clapped. I felt a warm glow inside. I had done it. My plan had worked. My brave choice had made a difference. That evening, I sat by the candle. I thought about the journey so far. I had started with small steps. I had faced fear, self-doubt, and judgment from others. I had made mistakes. I had worked hard and thought carefully. And now, something was changing. People were noticing. Respect was appearing. Support was growing. My small choice had created a turning point in my life. I understood an important lesson. Real change begins with courage. One choice, taken with care and heart, can grow into something bigger than fear. One small action repeated with effort and thought can change the way people see you. One brave decision can create respect, trust, and support. I felt proud, but I stayed humble. There was still much to learn. There was still more work ahead. I went to the river at night. The water moved softly under the moonlight. I watched it flow. I thought about my journey. The river had taught me patience. The river had taught me courage. My plan had begun to flow like the river, moving around obstacles, growing stronger with each step. I knew that tomorrow I would continue. I knew that bigger challenges were waiting. But I also knew that I had started something important. The townspeople began to greet me more warmly. Some even asked for extra vegetables. Some shared kind words. I realized that people respond to effort and honesty. They respond to courage and determination. My small steps were creating a path that could lead to more help for my family, a path that could lead to new opportunities. My brave choice was opening doors. Before I went to sleep, I wrote in my notebook. I wrote about today's successes, the lessons from mistakes, and the warmth of respect. I wrote, "One small choice can start a big change. One brave step can create hope. I am still small, but I am learning. I am still young, but I can make a difference." I closed the notebook and smiled. Tomorrow would bring new steps. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But for the first time, I felt that I was on a path where change was real and hope was growing. The reward of effort. The mornings in our small town were no longer the same. I carried my baskets through the streets with a quiet confidence. People smiled at me. Neighbors greeted me warmly. Some even asked for vegetables before I could speak. My small plan had grown. My careful steps, my courage, and my learning had started to show real results. At home, the change was clear. My family's kitchen was full of fresh food. My little sister laughed more freely. My parents were no longer worried about every coin. My father smiled when I brought money home, and my mother looked at me with pride in her eyes. The small hope we had held for weeks was now becoming real. Life felt steadier. Life felt lighter. I walked through the market and noticed something new. Sellers nodded at me. Some asked for advice. They had seen my dedication and smart thinking. They respected my effort. I realized that respect is earned, not given. I felt a quiet pride, but I stayed humble. The work was not done. There were still challenges, but the foundation I had built was strong. I thought about the first days. I remembered fear and doubt. I remembered carrying baskets with trembling hands. I remembered selling to neighbors who ignored me or laughed. I remembered mistakes, dropping vegetables, or asking the wrong price. Each memory felt heavy, but also meaningful. Each step had taught me patience, focus, and courage. Each failure had made the successes sweeter. Now, the money I earned could pay for more than food. It could help my parents buy seeds for the field, small tools, or even save for the future. I felt proud of what I had done, not because I earned money, but because I had chosen courage, thought carefully, and worked hard. My life had started to change, step by step. My family's life had started to change too. People in the town began to notice. Some stopped to smile and say, "You are brave. You work hard. You think well." Others followed my example. Some small children tried to help their families, inspired by what I had done. I realized that one small choice can affect not only your life, but the lives of others around you. My effort had become an example, a quiet lesson for the town. At night, I sat by the candle and wrote in my notebook. I wrote about every step, every failure, and every lesson. I wrote about courage, patience, and thinking smart. I wrote, "Hard work is important. Smart thinking is important. Courage is important. Together, they can change life." My heart felt full. I understood something deep. Nothing comes without effort, but effort mixed with smart thinking can create real change. I looked at my parents and little sister. I saw their relief, their smiles, and their hope. I remembered the difficult decision I had made weeks ago. I remembered the fear I felt. I remembered the first steps and the struggles. And now, the reward was here. Not just money, not just respect, but confidence, happiness, and the knowledge that my choices mattered. I thought about the journey. I had been small and young. I had been uncertain and afraid. I had faced challenges that seemed impossible. But step by step, day by day, I had learned. I had learned to act with courage, to think carefully, and to work hard. And now, my life was changing. My family's life was changing. The future felt bright, not because it was easy, but because I had earned it. Before I went to sleep, I closed my notebook and smiled at the quiet moonlight. I understood that the reward of effort is not instant. It comes slowly, through mistakes, courage, and determination. It comes when you keep moving, even when others doubt you, even when fear whispers, even when the road is hard. I had chosen to keep moving. I had chosen to act. And now, the reward was real. I felt a deep sense of pride and humility. Pride for what I had accomplished. Humility for knowing that more work and learning lay ahead. My heart was full of hope. The journey had been long and hard, but every step had been worth it. I understood that life could be changed, not by luck, not by waiting, but by courage, smart thinking, and hard work. And with that thought, I drifted into sleep, ready for the next chapter of life. The lesson that lasts forever. The morning was calm, and the town felt quiet. I carried my empty baskets, not for selling, but to walk and visit friends and neighbors. My heart felt light. I remembered the long journey, the fear, the mistakes, the hard work, and the small successes. Everything had led to this moment. I wanted to share what I had learned. I went to a small group of children near the town square. They were playing and laughing, unaware of the challenges adults faced. I sat beside them and said softly, "Do you want to hear a story?" Their eyes grew wide. They nodded eagerly. I began to tell them about my journey, the first challenge with my family, the mistakes I made, the baskets I carried, and the people who doubted me. I told them how I felt small and afraid at first. The children listened carefully. Some gasped at the failures I shared. Some smiled at the small successes. I explained how every day I chose courage over fear, how I learned from mistakes, and how I worked hard while thinking carefully. I told them, even when the road is difficult, small steps and smart choices can create big change. Later, I visited friends in the town. They had seen my progress and respected my work. I shared advice with them too. Start small. Think carefully. Work hard. Do not give up. Mistakes are lessons. Fear is normal, but courage is stronger. One choice, made with heart, can begin everything. They listened and smiled. Some promised to try their own small ideas. Some thanked me for showing that young people can make a difference. At home, my parents noticed the change in me. I was more confident. I was more patient. I was stronger in mind and heart. I told them everything I learned, patience, courage, smart thinking, it can help others too. We can teach children, neighbors, and friends. Everyone can take small steps, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward. My father nodded proudly. My mother smiled warmly. My little sister hugged me tightly. I walked through the market once more, carrying no baskets. People stopped to greet me. Some asked questions about how I had started. I told them about the first difficult day, the plan, the mistakes, and the small successes. I showed them that anyone, even someone young or small, could make a difference. I realized that sharing knowledge is as important as earning money. Lessons multiply when they are given to others. That evening, I sat by the candle and wrote in my notebook. I wrote, "One choice made with courage can change everything. One step taken with heart can create hope. One person, even if small, can make a difference." I reflected on the long journey, the first challenge, the plan, the struggles, the help, the turning point, and the reward. Every step had been a lesson, and now the lesson could live forever. I thought about the river again. It flowed endlessly, moving around obstacles, carrying water to places far away. I felt like the river. My small choice had started a flow of courage, hope, and change. I realized that life is full of small decisions. Each choice is a seed. If we choose wisely and bravely, we can grow something wonderful. We can change our lives and the lives of others. I looked at the moon shining softly in the sky. My heart was full of hope. I knew that challenges would come again. I knew that mistakes and fears would appear. But I also knew that courage, smart thinking, and hard work would guide every choice I made. I could face the future with confidence. I could inspire others. I could make a difference, one step at a time. Before closing my eyes, I whispered softly, "One choice, made with courage, can change everything." I felt that truth in every part of me, in my heart, my mind, and my hands. Life is not easy, but it is full of opportunity. Every day is a chance to make a small choice, take a brave step, and create hope. I knew that my journey had begun, but it would never end. The lesson lasts forever, and so does the power to change life. I smiled and drifted into sleep, ready for tomorrow. I was small, but I was brave. I was young, but I was strong. I had learned that courage, effort, and smart thinking can open doors, change hearts, and build a better life. And now, I wanted everyone to believe it too. Thank you for watching Read and Learn English. We hope you enjoyed The Choice That Changed Everything and felt inspired by the journey of courage, hard work, and smart thinking. Remember, this story is more than just words. It is a lesson for life. Even when you feel small, young, or unsure, one brave choice can create real change. Think about the character's journey. From fear and doubt to taking the first step, facing struggles, and learning from mistakes, we can see that patience, effort, and believing in yourself make all the difference. Every small action matters. Every smart decision builds your future. You can apply these lessons in your own life, whether it's learning English, chasing a dream, or helping your family. We hope this story motivated you to take action, no matter how small it feels. Courage is not about being fearless. It is about moving forward even when fear is present. Hard work and smart thinking will guide you through challenges. And remember, sometimes help comes from unexpected